start. The cannabis industry, as we know it today, is still new. I've been involved since the early days, as have many at the Institute, and we're about to see something we've only witnessed once before. Rewind back to 2016. Two massive forces were set to converge. Cannabis stocks were all brand new, and most folks were scared to invest. So, shares were trading for pennies. But at the same time, 8 states were voting to legalize cannabis in the coming months. That meant a wave of new markets were about to open up, creating billions of dollars in revenue. It was a powder keg waiting to explode.
Before 2016, I wasn't comfortable with our experts recommending cannabis stocks to everyday folks. But what Danny just said, that was the turning point for me. I instructed my team to release all of our research on our top cannabis stocks. Then, all 8 states passed their laws. In the months that followed, every stock we recommended shot up. Cannagrow jumped as much as 456% in a month and a half. General Cannabis Corp was up to a peak of 642% during that time too. It took InMed Pharmaceuticals about 4 months to hit a 617% peak gain. Mentor Capital, it peaked as much as 1,828% in less than 6 months. Canopy Growth as much as 1,869%. It was stunning.
I think we're about to see an even bigger explosion. The cannabis industry reaching $12.8 billion in North America is quite an accomplishment, but the future looks like $50 billion, then $100 billion, and so on. A lot of room to still run. Yet, once again, cannabis stocks are trading for pennies on the dollar. This time, it's due to the industry entering phase 2, where a lot of the early companies, after soaring in value initially, failed to live up to their promise. Some went out of business, others have pulled back, and that has had an effect on the entire market.
As an investor, this is an enormous buying opportunity.
They shouldn't be bargains much longer. A major election is on the horizon, with 18 states voting on new cannabis laws leading up to and on election day. This could develop very fast.
So we would want new members of the Institute to be able to immediately acquire stakes in the stocks that could pop the fastest in the coming months ahead. So I tasked the team with identifying the top 10 to buy right now. Now we're including them in our special dossier called the 1000% portfolio. In the past, at least 64 top performing pot stocks have delivered investors returns of 1000% or better. We believe the next 10 to join that club could be in this model portfolio.
I'm really proud to have played a small part in helping put this together, Mike. The 1000% portfolio has the cream of the crop. There's a company here that has mega brand written all over it. They're licensed to operate 68 dispensaries in 11 states. Their brand has gotten so popular, it's even been featured on NBC's Today Show, and that definitely helped boost their sales. Over the past 12 months, their revenue has multiplied more than 15 times, going from $3.4 million to more than $53 million. The 1000% portfolio also has a medical cannabis play that has treatments for PTSD, arthritis, and epilepsy. This firm has locations in California, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, and right now their biggest presence is in Florida, by far. Get this, they make up about half of the cannabis sales in that state. They don't have a competitor that's even close. They're more than doubling their revenue every year.
You want to talk about fast revenue growth? Well, in this report, we've identified the hottest multi-state operator. 2 years ago, they were at $200,000 in revenue. Over the last 12 months, they did $66 million. Right now, they have 30 dispensaries across 9 states. By the end of the year, they plan to have 130 dispensaries open in 13 states. CBD, well, it's a buzzword now. There's a lot of excitement around that. Well, we've honed in on what could become the biggest CBD brand in the country. It's one of the 10 stocks featured in the 1000% portfolio. Now, with each, we'll give you the Institute's research, our SWOT analysis, and risk score. You'll get our assessment on a potential return and timeline, everything you need for each pick in the 1000% portfolio. If you make a small investment in each of them, say $50, $100, $500, whatever you're comfortable with, and then you keep adding the new targets from our monthly action plans, a year from now, you could be sitting on a small fortune.
And that's just from the companies that are already public. And Danny, with your help, the Institute has prepared something I think is really amazing, and that's on the companies set to IPO in the near future. Can you talk about that?
Right now, I'm tracking 26 cannabis companies that could IPO in the weeks and months ahead. A few of them are prime candidates for the biggest cannabis IPO ever.
Didn't you used to hold that record?
I did. My second company, the Green Organic Dutchman, did hold the record for the biggest cannabis IPO, but that was during phase 1 for the industry. We ain't seen nothing yet. Cannabis stocks haven't existed long enough for investors to tell tales like they did of getting into Apple or Microsoft's IPOs during the 80s or Amazon's IPO in the 90s. If you bought into those companies on IPO day and rode them all the way up, it could have set you, your kids, and your grandkids up for life. We're about to see a wave of cannabis IPOs that could soon be looked at the same way. So, the research team sat down, analyzed all 26 of the companies we know are set to go public. They detailed their findings in the Cannabis IPO hot list. Paying extra special attention to the top 5 targets, they go even deeper into